Off-focus radiation and leakage. Definitions, effects, and regulations. Off-focus radiation is photons that were not produced at the focal spot, also called extrafocal radiation. This occurs when the high-voltage electrons striking the focal spot produce scattered electrons or photons. Inside the X-ray tube, the cathode helps focus the stream of electrons as they head toward the anode. These high-voltage electrons will hit the focal spot on the anode, and X-ray photons will be created. This will also cause a scatter of electrons and photons with sufficient energy so that when they strike another object in the tube, they will create photons. These photons will mostly be absorbed by the tube, but some will be able to make it out of the housing port. These photons were not created in the focal spot, therefore the name of off-focus radiation. This radiation will have much less energy than the primary beam. The off-focus photons that manage to exit the tube can cause ghosting of structures adjacent to the edge of the primary beam. Ghosting is not scatter from the patient. Patient scatter is not capable of creating a diagnostic image of anatomical structures. There is no way to permanently get rid of off-focus radiation. It is undesirable because it extends the size of the focal spot and can significantly reduce image contrast. It images patient tissue that was to be excluded by the variable aperture collimators. Examples of these images are the ears showing up in a skull examination, the soft tissue beyond the cervical spine, and the lungs beyond the borders of a thoracic spine. In the image you see here, the off-focus radiation is producing an image of the nose on a collimated sinus radiograph. Something else that comes from the scatter of electrons from the stream hitting the anode is leakage. Leakage is any photons that escape from the tube housing except at the port. Leakage is different from off-focus radiation because it escapes from the tube at places besides the housing port. The regulations that have been set for leakage radiation is that it must not exceed 100 millirems per hour at 1 meter. The X-ray tube housing is designed to absorb most of the scattered electrons and photons. The protective housing comprises cast steel and is capable of absorbing most of the unwanted photons. The housing is usually lined with lead for additional absorption at the cathode end and near the housing port. The housing is also equipped with a window to permit unrestricted exit for useful photons. The tube housing will also absorb a majority of the off-focus radiation, but enough will be produced at a proper angle that it will exit through the tube window, housing port, and collimator. This helps reduce off-focus radiation and leakage, but there is no way to get rid of it altogether.